From McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the CFL opens its 104th season as Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders play host to the expansion Memphis Mad Dogs. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second year of coverage of the Canadian Football League on ESPN2. I'm Gus Johnson, and last year we brought you 18 regular season games, plus the playoffs and the Grey Cup in Vancouver. This year we're going to do it all over again as the road to Regina, the site of this year's Grey Cup, begins today as Calgary takes on Memphis. And joining me now, my partner, Dan Kepley, and a lot of things going on in the offseason in the CFL. They've got a new look.
Got a brand new look. New players, a couple of new teams. More importantly, new divisions. The East and West is no longer in existence. They have a Northern Division, which consists of all of the 8 Canadian-based teams, strong and healthy and very vibrant and ready for the 95 season. The Southern Division consists of the 5 franchises in the United States. Birmingham and Memphis are the 2 new expansion teams. The San Antonio team is the relocated Sacramento team. Baltimore, very, very strong. Shreveport's bringing it up in Louisiana, and the team that is omitted there is the Las Vegas franchise that folded.
Well, this is the first year for this Memphis team, Dan, and they have a pretty good nucleus, especially on defense. What are the keys for them?
Well, there's certainly things. The thing that they did right very well was to go out and get themselves a quarterback, and they got the best in the business, I think, in Damon Allen. This is a guy that can get it done. What he needs to do is to help this offense keep the ball in his hands, make possession drives, make first downs. That offensive line is very important and crucial, and have to give him enough time to do what he can do best.
Calgary Stampeders finished the regular season with a 15-3 record, but they came up short in their bid for a Grey Cup championship. When you look at this team, what do they have to look for going into this game?
When they come back, they look at everything right now, and it's going to fall right on Doug Flutie's shoulders. This is the guy, the general that runs the show out there. He's amazing. He is magic with every time he touches the ball. What he has to do is move it around to his 5 receivers, keep that defense of Memphis chasing him around, and then give the ball to this guy, Tony Stewart, in the backfield, who runs the ball extremely well.
These 2 teams are at totally different points. Of course, Calgary wants to continue their championship form. Memphis wants to do well in their first game, and we had a chance to talk to both coaches before the ball game.
Well, I think the big thing we want to do is, as we've always done, we're going to change formations. We're going to give Doug as many opportunities to put the ball in the air. And I think, as people have seen towards the end of last year, our running game has really picked up. And, you know, we're not going to be foolish. You know, if the running game is good, we'll stick with that. If not, we'll do what we've done really well the last couple of years, and that's throw the football.
What we intend to do, of course, is to play loose and free and easy and let things happen. Now, we know we can't go out on the field and play against this Calgary team with Doug Flutie with anything except a wide-open, positive attitude. And we know they're going to be big plays on their side. We hope we'll make some, but I don't think there's any question that our game depends on how well Damon Allen plays.
And your coaches for this game: on the left, Pepper Rogers, 62 years old, 22 years in college coaching, the National Coach of the Year twice. And on the right, Wally Buono, 46 years old, a 73-28-1 record, has the greatest winning percentage in Stampeders history. And since 1990, no other coach has more regular season wins. Wally Buono has 65. And the Memphis Mad Dogs have won the toss. They will be receiving the football. And there you see Mark McLaughlin getting ready to kick the ball off, and a beautiful day here in Calgary. Dan Kepley to open up the Canadian Football League season.
The Calgary Stampeders are bringing into this game a 23-game regular season home winning schedule, and hopefully they would like to see it continue.
And from the 25-yard line, plenty of room on the right side. Big opening. And finally, Memphis goes down at the 32-yard line. Adrian Smith running the kick back, and he gets down inside Calgary territory.
Fumbles the ball, and that throws out the coverage just a little bit as they both come downtown. Then all of a sudden he sees an opening, and Adrian Smith shows a incredible amount of speed as he was able to burst through the hole. Greg Knox was able to fend off the receivers, and there's McLaughlin, and Greg Knox was the guy to make the last tackle.
Damon Allen, your quarterback, handing off on first down. It's Gary Anderson. Gets down to the 20-yard line. Make it the 21.
Gary Anderson.
And take a look at your starting lineups for this Memphis Mad Dogs team. Wide receiver Joe Horn, slot back Gary Morris, Damon Allen, your quarterback, who came over from Edmonton, Perkins, Anderson, Brown, and McKay. Brings up 2nd down and 1, 9-yard gain on the last play. Here's Allen straight ahead, and he should pick up the 1st down. Remember, in the Canadian Football League, Danny, the defense has to line up 1 yard off the line of scrimmage.
That's exactly right. Now that good offensive surge got out, and Damon Allen was able to jump right behind Vance Hammond. And Hammond is no little guy at all, 6'6", 295, bringing out the chains.
And Damon Allen signed as a free agent with this Memphis Mad Dogs team, and he's a pretty good one. Played in Edmonton twice, was the most valuable player of the Grey Cup as recently as 1993.
1993 was it? 1987 also, when Edmonton, and he led them to the Grey Cup championships. And also, as you said, MVP in both of those contests.
Here's your offensive line: Perez, Boyd, Hammond, Waller, Brown. Only one player on the offensive line with CFL experience. Here's Allen throwing to the far near side, and it's incomplete. Gary Morris, the intended receiver, will bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 19.
Probably a throw that Damon Allen would like to have back. He had plenty of time. He just seemed to rush it a little bit, and Gary Morris was wide open running down the near sideline.
Damon Allen, 6 feet, 170 pounds, 11th season in the Canadian Football League. And if the face looks familiar, if the name sounds familiar, yes, he is the younger brother of Marcus Allen, who now plays with the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and 10. Allen to the far side, incomplete, intended for Gary Anderson. Al Jordan defensively for Calgary, and that will force a 3rd down situation. Defensively for Calgary, Medlock, Stu Laird, the fireman, played in more games in a Stampeders uniform than any other player, along with Kenny Walker, Will Johnson, Marvin Pope, Matt Finley, who's been moved to inside linebacker, and Alondra Johnson, who led this team in tackles last year with 77.
That's a big change right there defensively for them. And in their backfield, they lost 2 cornerbacks in Junior Thurman and Douglas Kraft. Marvin Coleman comes in, and Kim Phillips comes over to play the corner from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
So Chris Gardner with the ball spotted at the 21-yard line, 27-yard field goal attempt. And the kick is wide to the right, but he kicks it out of the end zone. And that will serve as the first point of the game, a single. And maybe you want to explain some of the different rules here in the Canadian Football League as opposed to the NFL, which most of the fans out here are used to watching.
Gus, it's pretty simple. On a missed field goal, the return team has the option to bring it out of the end zone. And if they bring it out of the end zone, wherever that receiver is tackled, that is where they scrimmage the ball from. In this case, the ball was kicked through the end zone. It is called in terminology a rouge, or a single point, and then now Memphis Mad Dogs have 1 point, and Calgary will scrimmage from the 35-yard line.
So on 1st down, Doug Flutie rolls out of the pocket, sets himself, fires to the far side, and has it complete. That's Pee Wee Smith with the reception. He was 3rd on this team in catches last year. 12-yard gain, 1st down for Calgary. Your lineup: Pee Wee Smith and Alan Pitts. Pitts, the all-time leading receiver here for the Calgary Stampeders. Doug Flutie, we'll be talking about him a little bit later on. Daniel Stewart, David Sapunjas back after playing only 12 games last year, and Terry Vaughn. 1st down and 10 from the 47. Here's Tony Stewart, who rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. Gets to the 50, up to possibly the 53-yard line before being stopped. Gain of 5.
So many things that Doug Flutie makes you aware of as he's going to sprint out. He gets that defensive team running wide, trying to contain him, and then all of a sudden they're going to run the counter stuff back inside against the flow. Here's a good look at the offensive line. The big guys up front: Covington, Chronopoulos, Crysdale, Pandelitas, and Romano. They're the guys that get the job done to protect Doug Flutie.
Offensive line gave up only 13 sacks last year, which was the lowest amount in the Canadian Football League. Here's Flutie scrambling. Flutie cuts it across field, finally ducks under inside the Memphis 50-yard line. Gain of 9, and Doug Flutie already showing his ability to run at 100 yards rushing in their last preseason game, a win over Edmonton.
He certainly does. Doug, I don't think he doesn't want to run, but that is a great weapon that he can. He really does challenges the defense, and you have to be aware of where he is all the time. You can't take a good shot at him. You're not going to take his head off. What you're going to have to do is to break down and just hopefully grab a piece of cloth, and then you can get him down on the ground.
And Flutie picks up the first down from the 49. Firing underneath, incomplete. Intended for Vince Danielson. Ed Berry on the coverage. And when you look at this Memphis team, Danny, they're an expansion team, but especially defensively, they've got some pretty solid veteran ball players.
This is an incredibly veteran defensive team right now. Their front seven, led by Cofield and Rodney Harding. Everybody in the secondary has some experience. Greg Battle in the middle of the thing is the key. He is the guy, hopefully, is this going to be the glue that puts this Memphis defense together.
And we get a whistle. Flags on the play. Looks like it will be offsides against Memphis. Doug Flutie changing up his cadence at the line of scrimmage. Your officials today, referee Bud Steen, your umpire Bill Wright.
Offside, Memphis, number 52 and 98. Second down repeated.
So the penalty goes against Memphis, and they'll march it 5 yards down the field. Makes it 2nd and 5 for Flutie from the 44-yard line.
5-receiver pack. Stewart is the only back in the backfield.
Flutie underneath the Stewart has a little room. Tries to get downfield, but is knocked backwards. They should spot the ball at the 40 or 39-yard line. Greg Battle with the tackle.
And you just can't say enough about Greg Battle. He came over from the Ottawa Rough Riders in a sense that last year he was with the expansion team Las Vegas Posse, but prior to that he was with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and during his course at the Winnipeg team he was voted this league's MVP as outstanding defensive player twice so far in his career.
Greg Battle in his 9th season out of Arizona State picks up his first tackle of the game. First down and 10 though for the Stampeders at the Mad Dogs 38. And here's Flutie out of the pocket, firing underneath, complete. Pee Wee Smith with the reception, tackled by Richard Holt. Defensively for Memphis, and in their secondary, a very good group here. They haven't played together, obviously, but a lot of years of experience.
Great experience, as you said. Don Oligard coming over from Hamilton, being the key in the middle, but all of those people have CFL experience. Some have Damian Lyons 4 years, Junior Robinson 3 years. The rest of them are just have to mesh together.
2nd down and 3. They stay on the ground. This is Tony Stewart, and he gets the first down for Calgary. Tony Stewart, what a year he had last year. Rushed for over 1,000 yards. Became the first 1,000-yard rusher since 1986 for the Stampeders, and he was 2nd in the league with touchdowns, 19. And he is definitely a piece to this Calgary puzzle that fits nicely for Wally Buono.
Just like you said, he rushed it for 208 times for 1,120 yards. It's a great balance between rushing and throwing the ball.
To the near side, this is Terry Vaughn, the new receiver on this team. He spins, gets inside the 15. Make it the 12. Don Smith with the tackle. And Terry Vaughn, 5'8", 183-pound first-year player out of Arizona, replaces 2 very good receivers.
Big receivers that had left, Brian Wiggins and Will Moore. Brian Wiggins going to the Carolina Panthers, Will Moore to the New England Patriots, and also Travis Moore goes to the New Orleans Saints. Those are big receivers to have to replace. Terry Vaughn has stepped in and done a tremendous job through the course of the preseason, and hopefully for the Calgary Stampeders' sake, they're hoping for the 95 season.
Flutie towards the end zone. Alan Pitts with the reception inside the 5. Gain of 12. And Doug Flutie on his first drive of the game, moving this Stamps club right down the field, almost as if, you know, he's never missed a beat. There must have been no offseason for this guy.
He certainly has. You can get a look here at Alan Pitts coming down, working the zone, turns Ed Berry around, and as soon as he makes the cut, the ball is thrown on the money. Alan Pitt is just an incredible story in his own right. Last year, broke the CFL record, a one that he had set in 1991 of 118 catches. He caught 126 passes last year, 21 touchdowns.
7 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. Your score, Memphis Mad Dogs, the expansion team, on top of the Calgary Stampeders 1-0, but right now Calgary knocking on the door.
So, you know, but to the credit, the Memphis Mad Dogs are making them work for it. It hasn't been easy.
They send 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Play action. Flutie out of the pocket, throws incomplete. Intended for Alan Pitts. And Doug Flutie not happy about that throw. He let him a little bit too much.
Doug comes in, he fakes the handoff inside to Tony Stewart. He's going to come out on the naked bootleg all by himself, but he's not going to go anywhere. You got 58, Alex Gordon does an excellent job getting upfield, pursues, forces Doug Flutie to have to pull the ball down, and probably throws it a little bit before he wants to.
Doug Flutie, who is most remembered for his heroics in 1984 when he led the Boston College Eagles over Miami on the famous Hail Mary pass to Gerard Phelan, and he throws a touchdown here to his favorite receiver, David Sapunjas, and Calgary gets on the board, their first touchdown of the year, 6-1. They lead the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Doug Flutie doing the kind of offense that he has designed, along with the offensive coordinator, John Huffnagel, a famed guy out of Penn State. They work extremely close together. But look at this. Doug Flutie's sitting back, looking. He's got 5 receivers to pick from. Nobody comes around him. And right until the last minute, you give time enough for him to work. And when he does, a guy like Dave Sapunjas, the slot back, goes down there, finds the open area. And Doug Flutie makes no mistake on putting it in the money.
And here's Mark McLaughlin for the convert. And he nails it. And your score, 7-1 with 6 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play, and we'll have more of the first quarter after this. And welcome back. ESPN2's coverage of the Canadian Football League has been brought to you by New Bally's Total Fitness. With over 330 clubs nationwide, it's easy to turn on your life. Call 1-800-FITNESS today. David Sapunjas, who last year played only 12 games because of a broken collarbone, picks up his first touchdown of the season from Doug Flutie, and Calgary leads at 7-1.
Sponge is one of those guys that is really sneaky fast. He is something he's not going to blaze by you. He's got great hands, runs very methodical patterns, and he is a key receiver for Doug Flutie. Sponge last year, 57 passes in total for 686 yards and 6 touchdowns, even though it was cut a little short because of the injury to the collarbone.
Mark McLaughlin kicking off. Here's Al Shipman. Shipman breaks a tackle at the 30, busts it upfield. Shipman still on his feet, and he gets close to the 50-yard line, down at the 48. And we'll be back with Memphis on offense right after this quick break. 7-1 your score. It's not a baseball game. It's the Canadian Football League here on ESPN2. I'm Gus Johnson along with Danny Kepley, and Calgary really impressive on their first drive, Dan.
They certainly have. This is kind of the scoring drive that you had. It's kind of typical of Doug Flutie and the Calgary offense. 10 plays, 75 yards, and they ate up a lot of time. Doug Flutie having that time to throw the touchdown to Dave Sapunjas.
As you take a look at Flutie, who last year set a CFL record throwing 48 touchdowns during the regular season. And we talked to him earlier, Danny, and he talked about every year getting better at something, trying to improve his game.
That was the thing I wanted to ask. I said, does Doug Flutie get better, or can you get better? And he says, yeah, he really does want to get better. And the one thing that he's really concentrating on this year is trying to get his interceptions down. And he wants to read a little bit better. So therefore, these are some goals that even a great player like Doug Flutie is trying to acquire.
Right now, Memphis also with a great player, Damon Allen. They're trying to get the ball downfield. Here's Allen passing on first down, has it complete to Gary Morris, and he's tackled at midfield. Greg Knox with the stop, gain of 6. And this Memphis team went 1-1 in the preseason. They lost 35-14 to San Antonio and won 28-21 to Ottawa.
Damon Allen does an excellent job this time. The halfback blitz is coming by Kenton Leonard. He reads it extremely well. Good quick release. And Morris is the guy on the quick out, picks the ball up and picks up a good 7 yards.
2nd and 4 from the 55, straight up the middle. Here's Anderson trying to break it outside, and he's finally tripped up at the 37-yard line. Gary Anderson, gain of 18, and here's a guy talking about experience, not CFL experience, but definitely the USFL as well as the NFL. Played 8 years in the National Football League.
He's got it all, and he knows exactly how to carry the mail. Look how he cuts back across the grain. That big offensive line up front, Boyd, Hammond, and Perez on that side do an excellent job. And you don't have to tell or show Gary Anderson how to find a hole.
Here's Allen to the near side, complete to Joe Horn. And Damon Allen working his team downfield. Horn tackled by Marvin Coleman at the 24-yard line, gain of 12.
Offensive line of Memphis is doing an excellent job right now. Quick hitch pass, trying to slow that defense up a little bit. Damon Allen is getting some time, and he's also being very patient with his play selection.
Joe Horn out of Ottawamba Junior College in Mississippi, discovered in a tryout camp. And here's Anderson picking up positive yardage. Gary Anderson, 34 years old, came into camp, though, in unbelievable shape.
That's the thing. I looked at the coach today. I said, Coach, he's 34 years old, and he's going to play in your backfield. He said, there was nobody that could do it better than him, and this guy knows how to carry the mail. 3 times in his career, he has rushed for over 1,000 yards. Twice with the New Jersey Bandits, and 1 time in '88 with the San Diego Chargers. So he's been able to carry the mail a lot and get production.
Picks up 6 rather, 2nd down and 4. Anderson out of the backfield, had the ball in his hands, maybe thought about running before catching, and he drops the football.
Gus, it just goes to show you right there. It doesn't matter how old you are, how many years you played, how many times you carried the ball. You've got to do the basic things right. Take a look at it, watch the ball in, catch the ball first, then turn it up the field.
Well, it's the Extreme Games next on ESPN2, a week-long sports competition and 27 events in 9 sports categories. Sports biking, bungee jumping, echo challenge, inline skating, skateboarding, sky surfing, street luge racing, sport climbing, and water sports. It's all on the Extreme Games, and it's coming up next. 26-yard field goal attempt here by Chris Gardner. Rookie out of Mississippi State, and the 26-yarder is good. Gardner now 1 for 2 on the day, and his 26-yarder makes it a 7-4 ball game with 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Pepper Rogers, 94, 84, and 3 record in college and professional football. Coached at Kansas, UCLA, Georgia Tech, and also was the head coach of the Memphis Showboats in 1984 and 85, and he had a 19 and 19 record in those 2 seasons, and he coached some pretty good players.
Well, he really did. You can see some of the guys, Gary Beeman, Bobby Douglas, Wendell Tyler, Drew Hill, Steve Spurrier he coached. He actually coached one of the greatest, or the greatest punt returner that is still playing in the CFL right now, and that's Henry the Gizmo Williams, who plays for the Edmonton Eskimos. He coached him at the USL Memphis Showboat.
So Doug Flutie, 1st and 10 from the 35. Tony Stewart, the lone setback. They give it to him. Stewart gets close to the 40, marking it about the 39. Gain of 5, and joining us now, Steve Earhart, who's on the Board of Governors with the Memphis Mad Dogs team, and a lot of excitement surrounding this team this year. A new expansion team. Steve, how have things been going, and how did things go prior to getting the team?
Well, it's been a great experience in Memphis, teaching the folks in the Mid-South who are great football fans about CFL football. This game, one of our first experiences for the folks to see it back home.
Gain of 4. Flutie under pressure, bails out, gets the throw off, intended for David Sapunjas, but he had plenty of defensive people in his face. And when you look at Memphis, Steve, they have some different uniforms. We as broadcasters, we like to see these pretty nice looking uniforms out here, and it looks like the logo, the helmet, everything looks real positive and sharp.
It's the old Mad Dog look there with our Mad Dog right on the front of the jersey. The idea of a new wave of marketing, a new wave of excitement, great colors in Memphis. So we're really looking forward to this. It's a beautiful logo, and the people in Memphis have really adopted it.
Take a look at the Mad Dog there, snarling with the green helmet.
Wait till you see Alien come out and get our tea here.
That's right. Alien is the mascot for the Memphis team, and he is one of the highlights so far as the punt goes off the side of the foot of Tony Martino. Fielded and out of bounds. Eddie Brown steps out of bounds, and as we sit here and talk to Steve Earhart, and Steve, you're also working with the CFL in terms of their broadcasting.
Oh, that's right. We're real pleased, of course, to be here with ESPN and the second year of the contract with ESPN. We're working right now to extend that contract for 3 years, and we're very close to getting that done. It's a great partnership with ESPN and the CFL. Games both on ESPN2 on the big net, ESPN1.
Well, I think one of the ththings that's really good now with ESPN2 and ESPN1 that we create exposure to the United States, so they get a chance to look at this very exciting style of football.
Well, that's absolutely right. And seeing great players like Doug Flutie, and Damon's throwing deep right now.
And it's incomplete, intended for Eddie Brown, and it goes in and out of Eddie's hands.
But we're very, very pleased with the partnership with ESPN and the CFL, and we extend the contract here for the next 3 years. And
just the last look right there, you can see Eddie Brown, downtown Eddie Brown, just takes his eyes off the ball ever so slightly, and it slides through his hands. Eddie Brown has been historically notorious of coming up with big plays throughout the CFL in his career, and he will make a few more. He won't miss too many of those.
Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 40. Allen firing to the near side, and Joe Horn can't run it down. And Steve, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and good luck this season in terms of the team's play and also in terms of the CFL broadcasting.
Well, thanks. It's a great experience, and we're very happy in the United States now to be a part of the CFL, and ESPN giving the exposure to the new teams, the 5 teams down in the States. We're working on an expansion program, so I think it's going to be a great partnership in the future, and we appreciate ESPN.
Thank you very much.
Dave, thank you for your time.
So Memphis unable to pick up a first down. They'll send it away. Peter Gardere, the 3rd string quarterback, and this is Pee Wee Smith at the 21. Smith trying to turn it outside, cuts it back inside, and Smith, very impressive looking run there, gets up close to the 40, make it the 37-yard line. He led this team in punt returns last season. Mike Armstrong with the tackle.
It's the thing that really did impress me about this Memphis team is that they've got some guys on there that just love to play the suicide squad. Get in there, they love to chase down people and make good solid tackles once they get there.
As you take another look at Pepper Rogers, and not only has he coached some very good players, but he's also had some very good coaches under his wing. Steve Spurrier, Terry Donahue, John Cooper, who's now at Ohio State, some very, very successful college football coaches. And here's Tony Stewart running off tackle, and he's stopped by Tim Cofield.
Nothing too fancy about that. Just straight man on man. Give it deep to Tony Stewart and let him find a hole. They called it the search series. Hurry up offense by Doug Flutie.
Gain of 5. Here's Flutie. Incomplete, intended for David Sapunges, but Bobby Dawson right on his heels.
Bobby Dawson playing an outside linebacker. He's 6 foot 200 pounds out of Illinois. But that is the kind of thing that is happening in this league right now. Outside linebackers, true sight, are getting obsolete in the sense that they are going to become big, oversized defensive back. Doug Flutie, you can see the expression on his face. Just knew that he had Dave Sapunges wide open, and that was one he'd like to have back.
Tony Martino standing at the 27-yard line. High snap. This one off the side of his foot again. And finally picked up. by Don Smith. 25-yard punt by Tony Martino, and that is the end of the first quarter of play, with the Calgary Stampeders leading 7-4.
Are ahead 7-4. Let's go to school, everybody. This is what is called the no yards. In a sense, there are no fair catches in the CFL, so the Calgary team, who are the coverage team, has to give 5 yards for the receiving team to catch the ball, and then he makes the catch and has to pursue with the ball.
First down for Allen to the far side, complete to Horn at the 52-yard line. Finally ridden out of bounds by Jason Medlock. Damon Allen now 3 of 8 on the day. Picks up 10 more yards there.
This is a little more characteristic of Damon Allen. Feeling a little more patient. Take exactly what this defense is prepared to give him. Last series, he went downtown 2 times in a row. This Calgary defense is too well educated to give up big plays. You're going to have to nickel and dime him.
Allen threw for 3,554 yards last year, and he keeps it on the ground this time. Gary Anderson tripped up in the backfield, struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Will Johnson with the stop.
Inside trap play, and what they want to do is give the ball to Gary Anderson here. Gives it deep, lets him get behind it, but Will Johnson's going to have nothing to do with this. Good penetrations, able to get a hand on the ankle of Gary Anderson.
Picks up 3, second down and 7 from the 51. Over the middle, it's complete. Here's Gary Morris. Morris, heck of a job hanging on to the football. He's finally taken down by Al Jordan.
When the heat comes, the blitz comes from the Calgary Stampeders. Damon Allen Reed is hot. Go inside to the slot back very quickly. And as he found Gary Morris that time, Morris did an excellent job of holding on to the ball and then continuing with his balance and fighting for the first down. And they're measuring right now.
Gary Morris, first-year player out of Norfolk State University, was an all-CIAA player at Norfolk State, and he came over from Hamilton in 1994. Had 3 receptions, 21 yards during that time, and he gained 8. About a yard short of the first down. Will bring up 3rd down and 1. And in the CFL, unlike in the National Football League, 3rd downs in short yardage situations are good times to go for.
They really do. Being that the rule is that defensive line has got to stay and line up 1 yard off of the line of scrimmage, that really gives a good opportunity for the offensive team to get a surge. Damon Allen just to get behind Vance Hammond, Tracy Boyd, and Rob Waller up there and fake the quarterback sneak.
And Allen goes straight ahead.
It's going to be close, Gus.
His forward progress should give him the first down.
That offensive line, the 3 guys that I just mentioned prior to that play starting, did not get a good surge off, but on the other side, Stu Laird, Kenny Walker, and Jason Medlock really did a good job.
Marvin Pope finishing up the tackle, and they bring out the chains. And you talk about the linebacking core for this Calgary Stampeders ball club, Danny, and they've got 3 very quality veteran linebackers, and they did some switching around this year.
They really did. What they did, they took Matt Finley, who was an outside linebacker. Let's take another good look. You can see the good leg power of Damon Allen, and he marks the spot, and he got an excellent marking where his forward progress took place that gave him the first down. But getting back to that linebacking core, they moved Matt Finley from the outside to the inside, and Marvin Pope to the outside, and I'll tell you why after this play.
Flags everywhere. Looks like it may have been some movement on the offensive line for Memphis.
Illegal procedure. 61 Memphis. 1st and 15.
That's Vance Hammond, the center.
Vance, he's the guy that ought to know when the ball's going to be snapped. He just figured he may want to get a little head start and get the ball to Damon Allen a little quicker.
So they march it back 5 yards. First down and 15 from the 47-yard line.
As you can see, that ball came up. Damon Allen wasn't anywhere close to it. And then Vance thought, well, I'll bring it back down. We can start all over again.
Draw play. Here's Perkins. And Perkins wrapped up at the 45. That didn't fool too many people. Will Johnson in on the tackle.
Will Johnson
along with Matt Finley. Findog is what they call him, and Matt Finley, his 9th year, 65 tackles last season, 3 sacks, moved from right outside linebacker to the middle linebacker. And what are the differences for him now after playing outside linebacker for so long?
Right now, it makes his job possibly a little easier as far as coverage is concerned. But more importantly, with Marvin Pope on the outside, it allows Calgary's defense to do some more things creative that they would like to do as far as rushing him, because Marvin Big Daddy Pope stands at 6'1",
violation, number 9, Memphis. Second down repeated.
Stands at 6'2", about 245, and he can do, and he's a load when he comes through there. So they like to rush him, but he has got the great athletic ability that he can also cover one-on-one. So it allows him to do a lot of extra things with Big Daddy Marvin Pope on the outside.
And as an expansion team, you're going to have some problems early on, especially on the penalty side, trying to get players to mesh. And Pepper Rogers, he is seeing that right now. Another penalty, and it brings up 2nd and 18 for the Dogs.
Only 20 seconds in between plays to get it off.
Here's Allen going up top, and it's complete. Joe Horn into the end zone. Touchdown, Memphis. No flags on the play.
Touchdown pass to number 17, Joe Horn.
Joe Horn, who was discovered at a tryout camp out of Itawamba Junior College in Mississippi, a rookie, scores a touchdown, 50-yard touchdown pass, the first. That will be a trivia question for you. Who scored the first touchdown in Memphis Mad Dogs history? Well, it's going to go down to be Joe Horn. This Memphis team is now pulling a little bit closer. They lead it 10-7.
Give some credit to the big boys up front. Stu Laird finds a seam and comes in there, but it looks like a blown coverage in the secondary, where the safety, Greg Knox, was supposed to get over and cover that deep third. He was slow getting there. Joe Horn made no mistake once the ball was thrown in the air, looked it in, made a couple of fancy moves, and got it into the end zone for 6.
And it is good.
Joe Horn scores a touchdown. It's an 11-7 game, and Damon Allen throws his first touchdown pass of the season, and his team's on top, 11-7. With 11 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Damon Allen threw 19 touchdowns last year, his first of the season, and he paid for this one.
Like you say, success and accomplishment doesn't come without a price, and Damon Allen can feel Stu Laird come in, and he just turns his left shoulder right at the last minute, but Stu Laird gets him and drives him into the ground. But as long as that goes for 6 points, you'll see number 9 get up with a big smile on his face.
Damon Allen lives in Atlanta. He's a California native, but moved his family to Atlanta, and he is just tickled pink as we talked to him before the game to be playing in Memphis.
He says it only takes 45 minutes to an hour to get home flight. He built a new home in Atlanta with his wife Desiree and 2 children there. So I think Damon Allen's a pretty happy camper. If he can keep throwing passes like that and keep guys making the catches, and if he can get a little bit more help in that offensive line and somebody to pick up Stu Laird, he'll be even happier.
And Terry Vaughn running the kick and gets up to the 44-yard line. 50-yard kick, 19-yard return. Damon Allen throws a touchdown. Scoring drive, 6 plays, 64 yards, and they score in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. A 50-yard reception by Joe Horn, his first in the Canadian Football League.
19 yards on the return for the ball.
So Doug Flutie steps back onto the football field. His team with the ball on the 44, trailing 11-7. Operating out of the shotgun.
Nickel pack, 5 receivers. Splits Tony Stewart out wide.
Fires underneath, and it's complete to Alan Pitts. Alan Pitts was the #1 receiver in the CFL last year at 21 touchdowns, broke a CFL record, #1 in catches with 126, #1 in yards with 2,036.
He's just a big fella, 6'4", 210, huge target, comes down, works good, back to the ball, and Doug Flutie and him just have absolute magic.
Gain of 8, and here's Tony Stewart, a huge hole up the middle. He gets close to the 40-yard line, making the 41. Gain of 15. And The combination of Stewart, Pitts, and Doug Flutie, man, that's a triple threat.
This is the kind of thing that Doug Flutie and the Calgary offense has had great success in, is keeping the defense off balance because they can run the ball equally as well as they throw the ball, and that defense has a tough time reading exactly what Doug Flutie is going to do.
And a flag on the play. Flutie, if you read his body language, it's against Calgary. And some rough stuff going on the line of scrimmage. Denny Chronopoulos pushing somebody.
Well, you're going to have to start some new rivalries. There's a new kid on the block here. These are the old veterans that are out here. These guys have been around for a while.
Surprised that Memphis is playing so well?
I think, no, I'm not surprised at all. When you look at the depth charts and see what they have, I think that this is an exciting football team. They just haven't had the opportunity and time to mesh it all together yet.
Illegal procedure, 60 Calgary. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, number 77 Memphis and number 53 Calgary. Net 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15 Calgary.
Don't worry about this. Those are two old veterans that known each other for a lot of years. 77, that's Rodney Harding, who's in his 11th year, who came in from the Toronto Argonauts. And that's, as you say, Denny Chronopoulos, who came over this year to the Calgary Stampeders from the Grey Cup champion BC Lions. He left and signed as a free agent.
9:56 remaining in the second quarter. 11-7, 1st and 15 from the 37-yard line. Flutie over the middle, in and out of the hands of Alan Pitts.
Flutie's pass intended for Alan Pitts, number 18, falls incomplete.
Ed Berry defensively
number 13 on coverage
for Memphis.
Ed Berry is normally a cornerback. He's a guy that came over last year. He was with the Edmonton Eskimos, and he signed as a free agent this year with Memphis, and they have moved him inside to the half, and that's quite a compliment to him to be able to play that position as well as he is so far.
2nd and 15. 4 receivers to the near side of the field. Flutie out of the gun, firing, and it's complete. Nice catch by David Sapunjas, but the officials are going to wave this one off. Don Odegaard, the safety, there on the coverage.
Doug Flutie spreads the defense out all the way across the field. Then he's got Greg Battle coming right into his face, and you can see the ball does slip out, catches it in Dave Sapunjas' hand, then it slips down onto the turf, and Sponge falls on top of it to try to cover it up. But that's an excellent call by the official.
Tony Martino back into the game. Standing at the 48. Angles this one to the far side of the field. And Memphis downs it in the end zone. That will be 1 point. Eddie Brown, the veteran, gives up the single, as they call it, in the Canadian Football League. And your score with 9 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the second quarter. The Memphis Mad Dogs on top of the Stampeders, 11-8. Kind of a surprise, 9:09 remaining. 11-8 your score. Memphis leading the Calgary Stampeders, and this is a team that went 15-3 last year. And Doug Flutie looks a little bemused as he talks to his players and coaches on the sidelines.
Well, you have to really take into consideration now, Doug Flutie has only had films of 2 exhibition games to see defensively what this Memphis team is trying to do. They could have changed a lot of things and come up with some new looks just in that day, and it will take this offense and probably a lot of people in the league that play Memphis very early in the season a little while just to make their adjustments.
So with that in mind, Damon Allen, who's for so many years played with Edmonton and regularly faced this Calgary Stampeders team, is accustomed to what the Stamps do defensively, and he's 4 of 9 for 76 yards and 1 touchdown today. And they keep it on the ground. This is Al Shipman, the rookie out of the University of Miami, runs a 4.2 40-yard dash, and he is the youngest player at 21 years old on a CFL roster this season.
Gus, I checked that out in the program, and when I read for it, I said, this has got to be a misprint. And I went over and talked to Coach. I said, Coach, I said, are you sure this is exactly right? He said, I've never seen a man this fast before. This guy has got some wheels.
Shipman left Miami, rushed for close to 500 yards last year, and it's an intercepted football. Matt Finley. Finley turning the corner, holding on, staying on his feet. Finley at the 30, gets inside the 30-yard line as he gets knocked out of bounds at the Memphis 29. Damon Allen, his first interception of the year, threw 15 last season. So our first turnover of the ball game.
And it came on a miscue. I think that this time the Calgary Stampeders were coming with a blitz, and the blitz again, Damon's read is to read it hot to the inside, the slot receiver, and when he did, the receiver just not make the break, and the guy that did make the break on the ball was Matt Finley, and when Finley he made a good interception, picked up a few yards and showed those middle linebacker feet just rambling with it.
Finley with 2 interceptions last year, picks up his first today. Here's Flutie. Batted at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted. Damon Allen a little frustrated after that play as he goes over to talk to one of his receivers. Can't tell who that is right now. Looks like Eddie Brown. Allen 15 interceptions last season, and he throws his first here in the second quarter. Second down and 10 from the Memphis 29 for Doug Flutie. And a flag on the play. Over the middle, here's Saponjis. Saponjis inside the 5 at the 2, but they could be bringing this back.
Yes, good call. I think they are going to bring it back, and they're going to bring it back because Dave Saponjis, one of the rules you can have is that you can be pursuing toward the line of scrimmage. Dave Saponjis did, and when he did, he got offsides, and I think they'll bring it back.
Illegal procedure. Calgary, number 25, second down repeated.
And that's exactly the case. That makes it second down and 15, and take another look.
4 receivers to the right-hand side of your screen. Dave Saponjis gets in behind Greg Battle, the linebacker. Doug Flutie has plenty of time to find the open spot. One reason that Saponjis was so wide open, he got a quick head start on it.
Costly penalty, second and long. Flutie in trouble. Flutie still on his feet, and he goes down. This will be a sack for Memphis. Stephen Bates with the first sack of the year, and Flutie not happy with the way he was roughed up at the end of the play. And neither is Bobby Pandalidis.
Rodney Hardy's coming right up the middle, and he gets a hand on Doug Flutie, and in the end, that's Richard Holt that tries to push him down. There's a little bit of talking going on, and all of a sudden, number 92, that's Stephen Bates, that able to make the tackle. Tim Cofield is the man down on the ground, but they are really getting after it out there. The one thing that you can be as physical as you want to, Gus, I think you can get after somebody. That's great battle, but you got to have some discipline when you're doing it.
And this may cost Memphis. A flag is on the play, and an official is down. It looks like one of the officials got punched. That's the field judge, Glenn Johnson, and he is down, being looked at right now by a trainer looking at his left eye, or possibly his nose. Looks like Glenn Johnson may have taken a blow right to the bridge of the nose. It's not easy out there wearing those pinstripes.
I'll tell you what, you think with those zebra stripes out there, that's supposed to save you a little bit from getting into the contact a bit. That's Pat Clayton, the trainer of the Calgary Stampeders, on the right-hand side.
We'll update you on Glenn Johnson right after this. Back at McMahon Stadium, where Glenn Johnson is being attended to by the trainers on the sidelines. It looks like he's broken his nose. If you take a look at that shot there, right on the bridge of the nose, and it looks like it could be dislocated. And Greg Battle has been given an
objectionable conduct against Greg Battle. Now in this case, and I did not hear a disqualification, so we'll see if we can get, yeah, you can take a look at that right there. He's got some
some serious cuts on the bridge of his nose. He's got a big smile on his face. This is football. There's contact going on out there.
Including the officials. Glenn Johnson taking a sip of water, and we'll update you on his status. But right now, for Calgary, Mark McLaughlin in to attempt a 34-yard field goal. Doug Flutie holding. And it's good. McLaughlin scored 199 points last year and set a record for converts with 80, and he converted on 84% of his field goals last season. 37 to 44, starts off well here.
I tell you what, you can set records at kicking 80 converts when his team scores 84 touchdowns, as Calgary and Doug Flutie did with that offense last year. Just getting back to that quick thing again with Greg Battle, number 35. It is an objectionable conduct, and I think at that point, if there was going to be a disqualification, they would have mentioned it at that time. So I think they're going to call it incidental contact in some cases and allow Greg Battle to continue playing.
And we've got Major League Baseball for you Sunday, July 2nd at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time, live on ESPN. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and Bernard Gilkey against the Chicago Cubs, and mark Amazing Grace at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:56 Pacific. And stay tuned, because after this football game, the extreme games, and that's something you certainly don't want to miss. They've got some wacky events out there.
Gus, let's go do that windsurfing. Me and you.
No, you're not getting me on that windsurfing.
Let's go to enter these contests.
Not gonna happen. And here's Memphis. Good-looking return by Al Shipman. 38-yard return by the rookie out of Miami.
Number 20, Al Shipman on
66-yard kick. And Memphis will start with quality field position.
Memphis special teams coached by Brett Williams, who's a defensive specialist up in this league for a lot of years. The Toaster was his nickname. He's doing an excellent job, and by the way, the Toaster says hello to his wife back home, Deanna, and he said that may score some brownie points for him.
First and 10 from the 44. To the far side, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Eddie Brown. Now that's the second pass he's dropped today.
You take a look, there's Brett Williams on the sideline there.
is incomplete.
He gets pretty intense. I tell you what, he's still got a lot of playing blood in him.
Why'd they call him the Toaster?
I don't know. We never got really close enough to ask him questions like that.
Okay.
If he wants to be called the Toaster, you leave him alone. Let him call himself the Toaster.
You've got it. Second and 10 from the 44. Eddie Brown having problems holding on to the ball. Here's Allen again to the far side. Broken up nicely at the last moment by Marvin Coleman, but there is a flag on the play.
Now, Coleman made a good move on break on the ball, and this could be even offensive pass interference back on Eddie Brown, who came back and grabbed Marvin Coleman. But we'll wait to hear the call. Now, I really think back to the Toaster story just quickly. I think that the reason that he took the Toaster was the fridge was already taken. Now, that's the truth. That may sound kind of silly, but I think William Perry already had the fridge covered.
Deliberate forward pass interference, Calgary, spot foul, it's first down.
So pass interference against Marvin Coleman. A little questionable. It looks like Coleman was going for the ball, but nevertheless, they call it against him. First down and 10 now from the 52. Here's Allen in trouble. Damon Allen goes down. Jason Medlock with the tackle.
Jason Medlock, 6'3", 230 out of UNLV, is a great find that came over from the Las Vegas Posse in the expansion draft. This is the kind of thing. Good pressure by Will Johnson on the outside, forces Damon Allen inside. And Jason Medlock with 4.6 speed made no mistake about that tackle.
Medlock played linebacker at UNLV at 137 tackles his senior year as he became the MVP for the Running Rebels. And here's Allen getting it off, and he gets crunched after releasing the football. gets back on his feet. Gary Morris, the intended receiver.
It's third down.
And Damon Allen just got punished after he let that football go.
Their nickelback comes in. That's Al Jordan, who was picked up in the dispersal draft also by Las Vegas. Makes absolutely no mistake about getting his helmet right up in the face and chest to Damon Allen and makes him pay the price.
Peter Gardier, the former University of Texas starting quarterback, sending it away. Here's Marvin Coleman at the 11. Coleman finds a seam up the middle, gets up to the 26-yard line before being stopped. 15-yard return, 44-yard punt.
Taken down by number 45, John.
Gus, last year against the BC Lions, Coleman set a CFL record with 181 yards in punt returns. He is just incredible. Just a little stats on this guy when he was in school at Ohio Central. 4 times NAIA All-American, 2 times Kodak All-American, 3-time Black College Sports Reporters All-American. This guy had a whole wall full of plaques.
Marvin Coleman played for Billy Joe at Central State. And Tony Stewart gets tripped up. As you take a look at Coleman again, played for Billy Joe. As I told you, at Central State, Billy Joe now at Florida A&M, and there they won a number of national championships at the NAIA level, 2 as a matter of fact, and on that team as well, Big Daddy, as they call him, Marvin Pope.
Well, with Junior Thurman leaving the Calgary Stampeders, he got his call and his shot to be the starting corner, and he's doing an excellent job. Junior Thurman going as a free agent to the Birmingham Barracudas.
And it looks like another penalty, offsides possibly against Memphis. Penalties now starting to mount against the Mad Dogs.
Offside, 92 Memphis. Second down repeated.
That's Stephen Bates, 4th-year player out of James Madison. And Pepper Rogers not necessarily happy with all the penalties that his team is getting right now. They stay on the ground. Tony Stewart again, and he goes down. Alex Gordon with the tackle.
Met right away by number 58, Alex.
And speaking of experience, Alex Gordon, 9 years he played in the NFL, 3 years with Cincinnati, 3 years with the New York Jets, and he also played with the Los Angeles Raiders. Has 222 NFL tackles and 12 sacks. That's a long career.
A great career, and the way he got up the ball right there, he could really close the hole and did an excellent job.
3:04 remaining in the second quarter, and we're all knotted up at 11.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your next.
Field judge is back in the game after taking one right in the nose. But hey, these officials, they're just as tough as the guys on the field.
Hey, you can't make the club in the tub. You're going to get it out there, else there's going to be somebody else going to come in there and take your job. The guy says, hold on, wait a second. Tape a Band-Aid on this thing. Give me a couple of aspirins. I'm okay. Put me in, coach.
So Doug Flutie, who started off extremely well on the first drive, has struggled a bit with his sharpness. I think that would be accurate to say. He's 7 of 14, only 58 yards, 1 touchdown. And the field judge, Glenn Johnson, tough guy. He's playing with a broken nose right now. Here's Flutie passing on first down to the far side, and it's complete. Pee Wee Smith with the reception. 12-yard pickup, but there is looks like an injured player, or
That's Big Bruce Covington, the left tackle. Big Tuna, they call him.
6'5", 299. He was very slow getting up. Take a look.
looks like that one may have hit the ground before being caught by Pee Wee Smith. Play action, Flutie. Flings it out to the near side, and it's complete to Sapunjas. Tackled by Bobby Dawson.
Just a little word of wisdom here, Gus. You gotta be careful when you put that striped zebra suit on. You may get your nose broke. you be careful.
It's tough down there.
It is tough.
In the trenches.
This is a safe place up here, you know, in the booth.
Well, Dan Kepler played 10 years with the Edmonton Eskimos, and folks, you've never seen him, but when you see him on a stand-up next time, pay attention to his hands, because playing middle linebacker, he's paid the price. His hands are extremely gnarly, and Dave Sapunjis, who just made the catch, the first Canadian to catch 100 balls during a season, did that in 1993.
Let's just inform some people down in the States also. The rule and the law in the Canadian Football League regarding Canadian-based teams is that they have a quota, a ratio of 20 Canadian-born players on their team. You can have, in that case, 18 or 19 American players, whereas in the States, they are able to use, obviously, all American players. That is in the collective bargaining agreement of the CFL.
2nd down and 1. Here's Stewart. And he picks up the first down. Tony Stewart, prior to that rush, 7 carries, 40 yards. The all-time Iowa leading rusher had 2,597 yards.
1st and 10 Stamps at the Memphis 45.
And his sophomore year rushed for a career-high 1,100 yards. 1st down and 10. Flutie throws it out, and it's incomplete, intended for Vaughn. And Terry Vaughn, the first-year player out of Arizona, needs to watch himself. Pleading his case to the official.
Terry Vaughn, the guy that worked extremely hard at getting a position as a starter this year.
Now, Sports Smash is coming up at halftime, and we'll feature the Top Guns versus the Young Bloods in our feature here, along with scores and highlights. So don't forget to join us at halftime. 2nd and 10. Plenty of time for Flutie. David Sapunjis makes the reception, but he gets buried. Ed Berry, 7th-year player out of Utah. Strong hit. And the Stamps will be shy of the 1st down.
Ed Berry is one of the most respected defensive backs in this league. Bounced around, was injured a little bit last year as he was with the Edmonton Eskimos, but he has 2 Grey Cup rings on his finger, one with Toronto and one in 1987 with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Berry was a 7th-round selection by the Green Bay Packers in 1987. And his defensive efforts, very good there, and that brings on the kicking unit, the field goal unit for Calgary. Here's Mark McLaughlin attempting a 47-yard field goal. He's 1 of 1 on the day. And he nails it. Mark McLaughlin, 47-yard field goal. Wally Brano can be pleased with his kicker's efforts so far. That's because the Calgary Stampeders have taken a 14-11 lead with 1:39 remaining in the 2nd quarter.
Good look at Mark McLaughlin, the all-time leading scorer for the Calgary Stampeders. Hails from Liverpool, England.
McLaughlin out of Kent State. Your score 14-11, a minute 39 remaining in the 1st half. And looking at the 1st half, I think that as Pepper Rogers and his team heads into the locker room, this is something that they can be proud of, especially if they don't give up any more points.
It's a very positive thing, even in the fact if they were to give up another field goal or possibly even a touchdown. I don't think the way their defense is playing that they will, but in this case, they have played a very good, solid football, half of football, for their first league game in the CFL.
Quality run for Gary Anderson, gets to the 45, but what has hurt this Memphis team in the 1st half is penalties, 5 for 30 yards. And that's given Calgary a shorter field to work with and resulted in points for them. Calgary, 2 penalties, only 19 yards, and that's to be expected, though with a young expansion team like this.
Absolutely. These are young guys that are out there. They're aggressive. They're trying to get after something. They want to make something happen, and sometimes the penalties are going to happen.
Allen finds Horn at the 50. Horn eludes 2 defenders and finally gets out of bounds in Calgary territory, make it the 52-yard line. Joe Horn, nice reception there, gain of 12.
6'1" at 188. And I tell you what, I'm impressed with the way he catches the ball and what he does after the ball. comes back, just a little hitch, the ball's thrown on time, looks the ball in, makes a couple of moves, keeps his feet moving, breaks a couple of tackles, changes the ball over, and picks up the first down. This is excellent. This is that possession type of drive that Damon Allen and Memphis need to do to keep Doug Flutie off the field.
Here's Anderson getting outside. Anderson lowers his shoulder.
Gary Anderson, number 34.
And is ridden out of bounds by Phillips. Gain of 8 yards. Gary Anderson wearing number 34, his age, and man, he looks sharp.
Look good. Nickname the Hound. Can you believe? And I think he had the nickname the Hound way before the Memphis Mad Dogs. But that's a great logo, and it's a great back. And if it can continue and this guy can stay healthy, it could be a Cinderella story for the Memphis Mad Dogs this year.
He sat out 94 after spending 93 with the Detroit Lions in spot duty. And here's Anderson again.
Gary Anderson, number 34, gets
Anderson gets close to the 40. They'll mark it at the 42. A minute remaining in the first half. In the Canadian Football League, teams are allowed only one timeout per half as they bring on the chains for a measurement. And you see Memphis a little bit short here, but Memphis, or rather they pick up the first down, and Memphis utilizing the running game, and that's something that another expansion team last year did.
They really did, as in both cases, whether it was Baltimore that came in with Pringle, and he broke the all-time CFL rushing record, and he rushed for over 1,900 yards. This is great positive stuff for this offense, the offensive line being able to pick up first down and run the ball.
Eddie Brown working on Marvin Coleman, and this is incomplete. Good defense by Coleman. Bring up 2nd and 10.
Damon Allen in this offense trying to lull Calgary to sleep a little bit. Gets the hitch and go, pump fake, and then airs it out and let the speed of downtown Eddie Brown run under it. Marvin Coleman does an excellent job. Good positioning.
2nd and 10 from the 42. 46 seconds remaining in the first half as you take a look at Wally Buono. 72.2 winning percentage in the 90s. This one over the middle, incomplete. Gary Morris, the intended receiver.
It's one of the times when you can see Allen just forced that pass in there a little quicker than he wanted to, released it on a quick trigger. Morris was wide open. All he had to do was take another split second. He just wanted to beat the linebacker from getting there, threw the ball behind Morris.
So this will be a 49-yard field goal attempt by Chris Gardner. Set the Mississippi State single-season record. Field goals attempted with 27 and field goals made with 15 last year.
If this is missed for any reason, look for Marvin Coleman to bring it out.
But it's not.
And he's not going to get that chance.
Chris Gardner drills the 49-yarder. And with 38 seconds remaining in the first half, it's all tied up at 14. Pepper Rogers has to be pleased with what his team has done in the first half, and the people in Memphis have to be pleased with this team. They're facing one of the best teams in the Canadian Football League, if not the best.
Well, every year at this time when people go in and you talk to people that you think are in the know of the Canadian Football League, you say, who's the favorite to win the Grey Cup this year? The first and foremost pick, in most cases, is the Calgary Stampeders. So far for 30 minutes, Memphis Mad Dogs has given Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders all they can handle.
Complete to Alan Pitts, and Junior Robinson makes the tackle, gain of 7. 34 seconds remaining, and that's something that fans unaccustomed to watching the Canadian Football League should pay attention to. 34 seconds in the CFL is a lot of time.
It really is. The clock is stopped after every play.
So that brings up 2nd down and 1 from the 44. They go on the ground. Here's Stewart. He picks up the first down.
Number 21, Tony Stewart with the carry.
Richard Holt there on the tackle.
That's just to finish my thought last time. The clock is stopped after every play, allows everybody to get up. Then the ball is marked. The referee then at that time blows the clock in. So you do have a long time in 34 seconds.
out of the shotgun. Firing. Flutie intended for Pitts, and he couldn't stretch out to come up with the catch. Good defense there by Junior Robinson. 2nd down and 10 from the 49.
Junior Robinson, his 3rd year out of East Carolina, my old alma mater right there. Last year played with the Sacramento Gold Miners, which are now the San Antonio Texans.
Any more points?
It's a very positive thing, even in the fact if they were to give up another field goal or possibly even a touchdown. I don't think the way their defense is playing that they will, but in this case, they have played a very good, solid football, half of football, for their first league game in the CFL.
Quality run for Gary Anderson, gets to the 45, but what has hurt this Memphis team in the first half is penalties, 5 for 30 yards. And that's given Calgary a shorter field to work with and resulted in points for them. Calgary, 2 penalties, only 19 yards, and that's to be expected, though with a young expansion team like this.
Absolutely. These are young guys that are out there. They're aggressive. They're trying to get after something. They want to make something happen, and sometimes the penalties are going to happen.
Allen finds Horn at the 50. Horn eludes 2 defenders and finally gets out of bounds in Calgary territory, make it the 52-yard line. Joe Horn, nice reception there, gain of 12.
6'1" at 188. And I tell you what, I'm impressed with the way he catches the ball and what he does after the ball. Comes back, just a little hitch, the ball's thrown on time, looks the ball in, makes a couple of moves, keeps his feet moving, breaks a couple of tackles, changes the ball over, and picks up the 1st down. This is excellent. This is that possession type of drive that Damon Allen and Memphis need to do to keep Doug Flutie off the field.
Here's Anderson getting outside. Anderson lowers his shoulder and is ridden out of bounds by Phillips. Gain of 8 yards. Gary Anderson wearing number 34, his age, and man, he looks sharp.
Look good. Nickname the Hound. And I think he had the nickname the Hound way before the Memphis Mad Dogs. But that's a great logo, and it's a great back. And if it can continue and this guy can stay healthy, it could be a Cinderella story for the Memphis Mad Dogs this year.
He sat out 94 after spending 93 with the Detroit Lions in spot duty. And here's Anderson again. Anderson gets close to the 40. They'll mark it at the 42. A minute remaining in the first half. In the Canadian Football League, teams are allowed only 1 timeout per half as they bring on the chains for a measurement. And you see Memphis, they're a little bit short here, but Memphis, or rather they pick up the 1st down, and Memphis utilizing the running game, and that's something that another expansion team last year did.
They really did, in both cases, whether it was Baltimore that came in with Pringle, and he broke the all-time CFL rushing record, and he rushed for over 1,900 yards. This is great positive stuff for this offense, the offensive line, being able to pick up 1st down and run the ball.
Eddie Brown working on Marvin Coleman, and this is incomplete. Good defense by Coleman. Bring up 2nd and 10.
Damon Allen in this offense trying to lull Calgary to sleep a little bit. Gets to hitch and go, pump fake, and then airs it out and let the speed of downtown Eddie Brown run under it. Marvin Coleman does an excellent job. Good positioning.
2nd and 10 from the 42. 46 seconds remaining in the first half as you take a look at Wally Buono. 72.2 winning percentage in the 90s. This one over the middle, incomplete. Gary Morris, the intended receiver.
It's one of the times when you can see Allen just forced that pass in there a little quicker than he wanted to, released it on a quick trigger. Morris was wide open. All he had to do was take another split second. He just wanted to beat the linebacker from getting there, threw the ball behind Morris.
So this will be a 49-yard field goal attempt by Chris Gardner. Set the Mississippi State single-season record. Field goals attempted with 27 and field goals made with 15 last year.
If this is missed for any reason, look for Marvin Coleman to bring it out.
But it's not.
And he's not going to get that chance.
Chris Gardner drills the 49-yarder. And with 38 seconds remaining in the first half, it's all tied up at 14. Pepper Rogers has to be pleased with what his team has done in the first half, and the people in Memphis have to be pleased with this team. They're facing one of the best teams in the Canadian Football League, if not the best.
Well, every year at this time when people go in and you talk to people that you think are in the know of the Canadian Football League, you say, who's the favorite to win the Grey Cup this year? The first and foremost pick, in most cases, is the Calgary Stampeders.
So far for 30 minutes, Memphis Mad Dogs
has given Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders all they can handle.
Complete to Alan Pitts, and Junior Robinson makes the tackle, gain of 7. 34 seconds remaining, and that's something that fans unaccustomed to watching the Canadian Football League should pay attention to. 34 seconds in the CFL is a lot of time.
It really is. The clock is stopped after every play.
So that brings up 2nd down and 1 from the 44. They go on the ground. Here's Stewart. He picks up the first down.
Number 21, Tony Stewart with the carry.
Richard Holt there on the tackle.
That's just to finish my thought last time. The clock is stopped after every play, allows everybody to get up. Then the ball is marked. The referee then at that time blows the clock in. So you do have a long time in 34 seconds.
Flutie out of the shotgun. Firing. Flutie intended for Pitts, and he couldn't stretch out to come up with the catch. Good defense there by Junior Robinson. 2nd down and 10 from the 49.
Junior Robinson, his 3rd year out of East Carolina, my old alma mater right there. Last year played with the Sacramento Gold Miners, which are now the San Antonio Texans.
2nd and long for Doug Flutie. To Pitts, and he has the first down, and he gets inside the 45 at the 42. 17-yard catch for Alan Pitts. And there's 14 seconds left on the clock. So as we told you, this drive began with 34 seconds remaining, and look where they are now as Doug Flutie calls the first and only time out of the half.
Good look at Doug Flutie talking Coach Wally Buono on the left. The one on the right chewing the gum. That's John Huffnagel, as I said, the offensive coordinator who hailed out of Penn State. Great player, great quarterback in his own right in this league.
And starting Monday, July 3rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, live on ESPN and ESPN2, it's the largest sporting event in the world this year, the Special Olympics. More than 7,000 athletes from 140 countries competing in 19 sports. That's the Special Olympics. 1st and 10 from the 42. Flutie to the near side. Pee Wee Smith shakes a man off, shakes another off, and gets inside the 30 to the 28. Nice run by Pee Wee Smith. Gain of 12. And Smith, another one of those products out of the University of Miami. Drafted in both football and baseball. 14th round draft pick for the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's Flutie again to Pitts, and he goes and climbs up the ladder to make the catch and gets out of bounds at the 22.
Good play, gets out of bounds, stops the clock. Mark McLaughlin, the field goal kicker, comes on. And you can just see in what a short period of time how quickly Doug Flutie in this offense can pick up some ground and move this ball down the field and get him in a position for 3 points.
That brings in Mark McLaughlin to attempt a 29-yard field goal. He's been perfect on the day, 2 of 2. And he'll head into the locker room remaining perfect. McLaughlin nails a 29-yarder, and that is the end of the first half of play, with the Calgary Stampeders taking the lead 17-14 over the expansion Memphis Mad Dogs.
Hard-fought battle, Gus. And I tell you what, this Memphis team will be very excited. It'll be a positive, uplifting halftime for the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Your score after the first half, 17-14. The Stampeders on top of the Memphis Mad Dogs. And welcome back, folks. I'm Gus Johnson, and they're the new team, the Memphis Mad Dogs and the Calgary Stampeders. They're the old guys on the block. So it's the young bloods against the veterans. And earlier, we had a chance to take a closer look at both these teams.
I don't feel any pressure for this ball club. I do know that there's a high expectation, and as I've told the players ever since I've been a coach here, we expect them to be Grey Cup champions, and we're not afraid to say that, and we're not afraid to be grasping for that. I think any team that doesn't perceive themselves as a goal to be a Grey Cup champion never will be. Well, I think Damon Allen, like any great quarterback, you have to be able to control. And, everybody says, well, you want to contain the quarterback, but contain is really a word that's, in my mind, is confusing. We want to control the quarterback. And part of controlling is taking away something from him. And with Damon, if you give him the opportunity to both run and pass, then it's very difficult. When we've had our success against him, we've taken away the run lanes from him. And when you do that, obviously, you really take away one of the things he's heavily counting on, and so is his team. Quarterbacks that can get first downs by themselves make it very difficult on the defense.
Well, I think Doug's a great player. We played against him in the United States Football League. I was the head coach of the Memphis Showboats, and he's with the New Jersey Generals. He was just as tough then, except now he's probably got a little more experience, and he loves this Canadian football game. He's got that big, wide feel, and he can do a lot more, got more receivers to throw to. We know we can't stop Doug. All we got to do is just try and make sure we don't let him have the easy touchdown, just do the best we can to minimize our errors.
Damon's biggest asset is his athletic ability. He is able to make something out of nothing. He runs the naked bootlegs very well. He reads them on the run with Adams' offense. They'll just call a running play, and if Damon sees the boot there, he can just pull it down himself, and the automatic route is being run. He throws the deep ball extremely well, able to make big plays. His completion percentage and all that stuff may not be pretty at times, but he does throw the deep ball extremely well and will beat you with big plays, both running himself and throwing the ball deep.
Well, I think when you look at Doug, you look at his ability to buy time. And he does a lot of things out of the norm as far as throwing the football. I mean, a lot of people say he doesn't throw the football at the proper feet and everything else, but when you look at his total ability for this game, he's perfect for this game. And, you can only say that when you look at quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League, his is one of the names you have to look at as far as his ability to get the job done. Throwing on the run, running with the football, making good decisions, using his people. He's a very good football player.
Damon Allen saying that Doug Flutie is perfect for this game and for this team, and he led the Stampeders to a 15-3 record last year, but Damon Allen also perfect for this Memphis team. So stay with us. We'll have the second half coming up right after Sports Match. At the end of one half of play. And welcome back. I'm Gus Johnson along with Dan Kepley. And Dan, the first half proved to be pretty competitive, especially for a Memphis team that, hey, this is their first game against one of the best teams in the CFL.
They went out there and they made a few mistakes, but they made a lot of efforts out there. And I think it happened a lot when Damon Allen took his time, was patient, ran the ball a little bit, dumped the ball short, didn't try to go downtown to it a lot. And I think he really ran the offense very well. And again, we're going to see a lot of offense out there, and I think it just really has caught Doug Flutie by surprise. But one time that it didn't catch him by surprise was a time when he got full time, a lot of pressure. But then in this case, he found Dave Sapunjas wide open in the end zone in front of Bobby Dawson for a major. But not to any avail. Damon Allen came back and said, whatever you can do, I can do better. And he finds Horn, the wide out on an out and up, beats the safety, Knox, does a few little fancy steps, gets the ball inside.
50-yard touchdown by Joe Horn, the rookie out of Mississippi, but Damon Allen did pay for that touchdown.
There's a lot of physical contact going on out there, and that's the kind of thing that Damon Allen knew that he would have to do. That offensive line's got to protect him a little better.
And when you look at the first half of play, most notably for this Memphis team, they were able to do a very good job keeping the ball on the ground and running the football. If you take a look at the statistics from the first half of play, rushing yards. They outran Calgary in the first half, 76-56.
And the passing yards, when you would think that maybe they would not be able to be even in the ball game with a guy like Doug Flutie, but at 119 yards that Calgary made, all of a sudden the passing yards for Memphis and Damon Allen is 88. They had a very positive thing in the locker room. They had to, just being behind, only 14 to 17 at the halftime. And when they come back in, look for a big physical ball game for the last 30 minutes of this contest.
Doug Flutie, 14 of 23, 119 yards and 1 touchdown. That going to David Sapunjas, a 3-yard touchdown pass in the first half of play. And as Dan, you talked about during the pregame, Flutie hasn't had a lot of chances to study this Memphis team because this is their first game, but he's a very good quarterback in terms of making halftime adjustments. We saw that all last year, and we look to see a different Doug Flutie in this second half, especially maybe a little more aggressive by Flutie as he gets ready to go on offense to begin the second half of play here. And the kick goes to Pee Wee Smith at the 5. Smith up the middle, has running room. Pee Wee Smith cuts it back inside and finally goes down at the 45-yard line. 40-yard return for Pee Wee Smith.
This resembles Calgary's offense from last year. A thing that they did extremely well was their specialty teams. And Pee Wee Smith is just great doing that. And what he did, he created a short field for Doug Flutie.
And there's Alien, the mascot for the Memphis Mad Dogs. And after the kickoff, Alien storms onto the football field, grabs the kicking tee, and goes back to the sidelines. Pretty good show for Alien, the mascot for the Memphis Mad Dogs. Right now, Doug Flutie, 1st and 10 from the 44. Pitch it out to Tony Stewart. Has a bunch of red jerseys in front of him. Bounces off tackles. Gets close to the 50 before being hauled down. Alex Gordon with the stop.
Gus, I thought we were going to come and watch a football game. All of a sudden, I'm just seeing a dog and pony show so far going on. Horses running up and down the thing, dogs running in at halftime, dogs running anything. That dog came up on his own chartered Learjet.
That's right. Calgary Stampeders, their mascot is a horse that runs around the field after touchdowns. And there we see Alien going out on the field after the kickoff. 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6, tipped. Incomplete, intended for Sapunjas. Had Berry there defensively, and Rodney Harding as well. Looks like he got a big paw on the football.
Sean Daniels getting into it with Rodney Harding and also Tim Cofield. Flag went down on the play. Let's listen to the call.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Memphis, number 55, 1st down Calgary.
So that's Tim Cofield with the unnecessary roughing call. He's a veteran now. You wonder what's happening on that line of scrimmage. You've been there before.
Well, when they talk about it and you hear the cliches about it being a war zone, it is. There's a lot of physical contact and there's a lot of meat hitting one another. And when you got that coupled by the fact you got some guys out there that got some serious attitudes, it's going to get physical. And that's exactly what's taking place right now.
1st down from the 47. Here's Flutie going up top for Vaughn, and he overthrows him. Don Smith running stride for stride with rookie Terry Vaughn, as well as Don Odegaard.
Don Smith, great cornerback, came over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, signed as a free agent with the Memphis Mad Dogs. 6 picks last year. He's out of Liberty University.
Second and 10 for Flutie. 3 receivers to the near side. Flutie, pressure, steps up in the pocket, gets it off, and somehow completes the pass to Alan Pitts, but he won't pick up many. 1, possibly 2. And Doug Flutie, frustration setting in a little bit.
You can see that's a look that we're not familiar with up here in Canada that gets to see a lot of Doug Flutie, to see him look frustrated. Rodney Harding coming in, Greg Battle coming in. The ball's thrown, almost picked off. But Alan Pitts does an excellent job of coming back toward the ball, but does not pick up the 1st down. Leaves it 3rd and quite long, about 6 yards.
Brings on the field goal unit for Calgary. Mark McLaughlin 3 for 3 so far. Longest of 47. This will be a 48-yard attempt. Ball sitting on the right hash mark.
Mark McLaughlin attempts another 49-yard field goal.
And it's good. McLaughlin barely gets that one over the bar. But he nails it, and Calgary goes on top 20-14. Their kicking game so far has been keeping them in this one, and with 12:36 remaining, it's 20-14 Calgary.
The Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records book. It's your source for the landmark plays, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances, all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-626-4330.
I'd like to tell you about my friend Jake. Jake is music. If he's not playing, he's listening to music. He has a legendary music collection. He's got stuff from last century.
8 tracks.
The best times we have are just when we sit down and pick up the guitars and play what comes to our heads. Jake's just a great friend.
Western. Got his backstage passes?
Yes. Everybody loves him. Not too sure the neighbors do, though.
When you're with a friend as good as Jake, shouldn't you have a Heineken?
Calgary, 20-14, your score, 12 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play, and Mark McLaughlin nailed a 48-yard field goal, and he's been keeping the offense going so far. Doug Flutie, no frustration setting in for him on the sidelines, and he's talking to his people. And what has Memphis been doing to confuse him?
I think one thing that they've done is, since that front 4 and front 7 kind of linebackers have been getting some heat on Doug Flutie. He's not getting the time that he wants to have to get back there and do the things that he's normally had to do. And when he has had to scramble out of the pocket, this Memphis has got some team speed. They can track him down.
Adrian Smith wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Roger Reinson with the tackle, and Damon Allen steps back onto the football field. 5 of 16, 88 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not glaring numbers, but he's done a good job keeping his team in this ball game. And in the CFL, as long as it's close, there's a possibility to pull out a win.
Even when it's not close. I've seen guys come back from 20 and 25 and 30 points down in the fourth quarter and make a lot of things happen. This is a fast game. You've got to keep up with the pace.
Allen to the near side, complete to Horn. Horn, nice play. Horn at the 50, shaking and baking, and gets out of bounds inside Calgary territory at about the 54-yard line.
This will be the kind of thing, Gus, that'll really infuriate the head coach, Wally Bono, who works with the linebackers and the secondary. Poor tackling. Look at this here. That's Medlock that misses one, then allows him to step up, a couple of steps again. Kenton Leonard pushes him out of bounds right at the last minute. But Joe Horn is having just an excellent game for his first appearance in a regular season game.
Full reception, 101 yards, 27-yard gain there, and he picks up his 5th reception. Out of bounds at the 45.
Wrestled out of bounds by Marvin Coleman.
Marvin Coleman there on the stop, and Joe Horn spent some time in the Baltimore CFL's camp before coming here to Memphis.
Nothing fancy, but Damon knows how to slow this big rush by the Calgary defense. Quick hitch pass. Good concentration by Joe Horn. Looks the ball in. Fights for a couple extra yards. Makes it second and very short.
Gain of 8. Here's Perkins picking up the first down. Tackled by Will Johnson and Alondra Johnson.
Bruce Perkins with a back that I first saw when he was with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in '93, also in '94. Big back, 6'2½", about 235, 28 years old, out of Arizona State. Carried the mail a lot of times in Hamilton in '93, 173 times for 812 yards.
First and 10 Memphis at the Calgary 38.
First and 10 from the 38. Allen, complete. This is Morris, and Morris gets to the 25, make it the 26-yard line, picks up the first down. Danny, how big of a win would it be for Memphis, and how big of a loss would this be for Calgary?
It is just insurmountable what to think it could happen. I mean, this is not. I mean, anything can happen in the CFL, and anything can happen in a given day. But to have an expansion team, even with a bunch of veterans like Memphis has, to come in here and beat a team of the quality of the Calgary Stampeders, and that's going out on a limb to say that right away. It's a little bit unheard of, but it would be devastating to the Calgary Stampeders.
Kenny Walker makes the tackle. Walker, the second-year CFL player out of Nebraska. An All-American, an All-Big 8 selection, an All-Academic player at Nebraska. Played a few seasons with the Denver Broncos. No gain on the play.
Terrific job by Kenny Walker, and you know the story behind him. He has been totally deaf since 2 years old by spinal meningitis.
9 yards to go.
Calgary Stampeders trying to extend their 23-game home winning streak. They went 9-0 at home last year. Damon Allen surging ahead, gets 9 yards.
Here's the kind of thing that Damon does best. Not that he really wants the ball, but he has the great athleticism to be able to run the ball. But you run it when you have to keep the ball, keep the possession, make a first down, then come back. I'm tremendously impressed by the patience that Damon Allen and this offense is showing right now under the pressure of a very tough Calgary defense.
Field goal unit in now, Chris Gardner. Setting his tee down at the 26, and in the Canadian Football League, they are allowed to use the kicking tees instead of having to kick it off the ground. This is a 26-yard field goal attempt. And it's good.
And the 26-yarder is good.
9 minutes and 1 second remaining in the third quarter, and Mad Dogs have pulled to within 3. They trailed 20-17.
Pay-per-view brings home everyone's favorite gang.
Okay.
Spanky, Alfalfa, Buckwheat, Porky, and Darla. Stymie, Froggy, and Petey. Treat your gang to good old-fashioned family fun. Order the Little Rascals and laugh along with Pay-per-view.
He was a Secret Service agent handpicked by the president for special duty.
Breakfast!
Guarding a former First Lady was his most challenging assignment.
I'm a Secret Service agent, Mrs. Carlisle, not a caddy.
I need a price check on LeSueur baby peas. Repeat, LeSueur baby peas.
They're on special today, 2 for $59.
Shirley MacLaine and Nicolas Cage star in Guarding Tess, this month only on the Movie Channel.
Wally Buono, only the second Canadian after Les Lear, who coached in the 48-52 seasons, to coach the Calgary Stampeders. And what a job he's done. This is 6th season in Calgary.
Chris, you talked a lot about his coaching skills and all the experience he has. Wally Buono was an excellent linebacker that played with the franchise that was the Montreal Alouettes in the mid-70s, the late 70s, won a number of Grey Cups. Tough, physical, mean kind of guy. And that is why he's one of the few head coaches in this league that actually takes a position coaching job as far as running the defense, both the linebackers and the secondary, along with Spaziani, the defensive coordinator that you see in the middle of this on the right-hand side. He is the defensive coordinator.
So for Doug Flutie and the Stamps, 1st and 10 from the 35. 8:45 remaining. They give it to Tony Stewart in the flat. Stewart finds an opening. Gets close to midfield. And your scoring drive for the Mad Dogs from Memphis. Didn't take them a very long time to get the football in the end zone. 6 plays, 59 yards, 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and Gardner with a 29-yard field goal. Tony Tony Stewart gains 18 yards, 1st and 10 from the 53. They find him in the flats once again, and Stewart written out of bounds by Richard Holt. But not until he gets to the 45, maybe the 44.
Gus, you can see just a change right now taking place. The whole attitude of Calgary Stampeders is, what are you talking about right now? Why is we're letting these guys give us a good competitive game right now? Let's go out there, do what we do best, do what we've done over the past few years, make some things happen and score some points. And Doug Flutie has taken charge.
Gain of 11, 1st down again. This one knocked away at the last moment by Bobby Dawson, intended for David Sapunges.
Incomplete. Recovered from Bobby Dawson, number 27.
It's awfully hard on a defense when Doug Flutie spreads out 6 receivers across the board, lines up in that shotgun, and he's got such a quick trigger. It's very hard to get pressure on him. He throws the ball and releases it really on time. It's frustrating.
Last year, Calgary averaged 38 points per game, which was #1 in the CFL. They threw for 344 yards per game, and they're not close to those numbers so far. Underneath, incomplete. Intended for Pitts again, and he is livid. I'm not sure if he's upset with the officials himself or Doug Flutie.
I would suggest he's upset with the officials because he wants to make sure if you put a good enough performance, sometimes you can convince these referees to change their tune. He thinks he has the ball. The ball hit the ground the first time, bobbled twice, came up into his chest, and then he actually made the catch. So he thinks he was just trying to convince the referees.
And that was a reception.
Tony Martino, 4th punt of the game. Longest is 40 yards. He averaged 40.8 yards per punt last year. Nice punt here, spiraling into the end zone. And Memphis, Eddie Brown has to take a knee and give up the single. So with 7:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Stampeders add another point, and it's 21-17.
Not for Damon Allen or Coach Pepper Rogers to have to change anything. This offensive plan has been working very good for them. Be patient. Run the ball when you have to. Try to get this defense to pursue a little bit. Don't try to take it downtown. And if they're only going to give you the 5-yard quick out of the hitch, or you have to dump it hot, take that. Main thing, again, I keep repeating, keep the ball in your hands, make some 1st downs.
Damon Allen in his 11th season has thrown for 171 touchdowns and ran for 54. Here's Anderson, and they string him out. Good play by Marvin Pope, who comes up with the tackle. Now, he's the guy that we told you earlier moved from middle linebacker to outside linebacker, and he slimmed down and looks pretty ready for his new position.
Trap play coming inside. That's number 66, Rob Wallow, coming out to lead the way. But Big Daddy Marvin Pope gets excellent position on the outside, squeezes it back inside, and then falls off and makes the tackle himself and help with some pursuit from the inside.
Pope goes to the sidelines on this passing situation. 2nd and 13 from the 32. Allen, he's going to take it with blockers in front of him. Allen gets the 1st down. Damon Allen up to the 55-yard line. That's midfield in the Canadian Football League, and he's downed at the 54. 23-yard gain for the veteran quarterback from Cal State Fullerton.
Damon Allen reads right now. He sees that everybody's covered. The defensive backs came in. Marvin Pope's on the sideline, 6 defensive backs. It's wide open. All he has to do is take the quarterback draw himself, runs it right up the middle, and the first place that he's going to get tackled is hopefully by the safety that's coming over from his position.
This is Shipman, and he gets dragged backwards. Kenny Walker there with the tackle. Walker's 2nd tackle of the game, and we told you about Kenny Walker. He's deaf. He suffered spinal meningitis as a young child and lost his hearing, but it still hasn't hampered his athletic ability. At one time, he had a interpreter here for him, but
2 years ago he did, but last year Wally Buono felt that we needed to get rid of the interpreter.
Almost intercepted, in and out of the hands of one receiver, and Gary Anderson was there.
Let's just finish that thought right there. The interpreter was there, helped him as far as translating what was being said and with signing, hand signs. But at some point, Coach Buono felt that maybe if that interpreter wasn't here, that Kenny Walker would have to step up, take a little bit more responsibility, and do a few more things on his own. And it is just an incredible positive story of what that man has been able to accomplish. He reads lips extremely well. He looks at Matt Finley, the captain, for the huddle, and he can read exactly what the defense is being called. And when you play defense, you don't play on sound, you play on reaction, and he's got some of the best in the league.
Peter Gardier punting from the 45. Nice punt. This is Coleman starting inside his own 5-yard line, and he goes down. Greg Battle with the tackle, and Battle is fired up today. He's talking trash once again. 4:30 remaining, 21-17, your score. Of note, as expected. Here's Flutie trying to string things out and buy some time. Loses 4 yards there.
Now the clock will stop at this time. 24 seconds left to go. They spot the ball. Everybody gets back on side. And then the time will be blown in.
So when you look at this game and the way they played, is this almost like a win for the Mad Dogs?
Well, I think in a sense that they can take certainly a lot of positive things from this game. They weren't blown out of this contest like a lot of people had probably speculated they would. At some sense, Wally Buono on the other side has got to look and say, this wasn't a pretty victory by any means. We're very fortunate to probably have won this game, and on this kind of film, these are the kind of games that you can have that you can learn a lot from. First of all, you can look at yourself and see, did you do everything that you could possibly do as a player to play 100% out there and give the best effort? There's going to be a lot of changes as far as, you know, the techniques and things that happen, but all in all, been a very entertaining football game.
And the road doesn't get easier for the Mad Dogs. They'll take on the Grey Cup champion BC Lions Friday, July 7th.
Time count violation,
in Memphis.
Calgary, number 11.
And a lot of changes have taken place during the offseason with BC, and new quarterback, old star going to Toronto, and
Ken Austin left and leaving, traded from BC to Toronto. The backup quarterback and the hero of last year's Grey Cup, Danny McManus, now given the reins, and he's running the show for the BC Lions.
So what do you do, Danny? Do you punt the ball in this situation, or do you just sit on it? Or?
But I think Martino takes the snap back there. It's only 4 seconds to go. All he has to do is run around, take a knee, get touched, and then the game's over with. And the best thing, what they're going to do, they're taking the punt team off. They're putting the offense back on there. They'll probably put Doug Flutie in the shotgun and let him do, because that's what he does best. Run around, scramble, and if Doug Flutie can't kill 4 seconds, we got problems.
Pepper Rogers still coaching, despite his team trailing 24-18. And here's Flutie. Still running the football, and the game is over. Flutie headed for the sidelines, and he got down. And his big Alex Gordon gave chase, and Wally Buono and the Calgary Stampeders extend their home winning streak to 24 straight games. They were 9-0 last season, and they begin the 1995 campaign with a win here at McMahon Stadium, 24-18, the final.
And don't forget about the fifth quarter phone-in show on QR77.
Doug Flutie, not as sharp as we thought he'd be, especially after coming out and leading Calgary directly down the field on their first drive of the game. But the star of this game had to be Mark McLaughlin, who just did a spectacular job kicking the ball through the uprights.
He always does. I tell you what, any kind of guy that, like Mark McLaughlin, is one of the steadiest kickers the CFL has ever seen.
24-18 final. We'll be back after this.